that has been called to inaugurate an era of equality in India has no parallel in Indian history. I can only compare this to a meeting held in France in 1789 that ushered the French Revolution. Our conference is the beginning of such a social revolution in India. We are here to declare a war. Our goal is not only the abolition of untouchability, but a war against the caste system itself. We will not be immortalized by drinking water from the tank, but this, our action, will prove that we are also human beings. We must establish the principle that status in India shall not be determined by birth, but by merit alone. We must rearrange Indian society on the principles of a casteless, classless society. We must adopt the principle that all men are born equal and die equal. Let's destroy the authority of the ancient Hindu scriptures that abound in inequality. Brothers and sisters, religion and slavery are not compatible.
Brothers and sisters, even though I am a Brahmin by birth, I condemn outright the doctrines of the Manusmriti. It is a symbol not of religion, but of inequality, cruelty, and injustice. I move a resolution that the Manusmriti, which has been the cause of untold sufferings for the generations, be publicly burned. क्षुद्रतु कार्ये दास्यम कृतभकृतमेव वा दास्यायौ वै सृष्टोऽसौ ब्राह्मण्यास्य स्वयंभुवा वैश्य शूद्रो प्रयत्नेन स्वानि कर्माणि कारयेत् सौहि जितो स्वकर्मभ्य क्षोभयेतामिदं जगत् न स्वामिना निसृष्टोऽपि शूद्रा दास्याद् विमुच्यते निसर्गजं हिततस्य कस्तस्मात् दपोहति.
Dear Bhaurao, Congress has boycotted the Simon Commission, and so has Muhammad Ali Jinnah. But I am determined to attend it in spite of all the anger and fire against me. During this crisis, I miss Balaram Bhau. He would have supported me had he been alive. After giving my classes in the law college, I'll be going to Pune. There I have to meet the Simon Commission tomorrow.
Sahib, take care. Markebo was telling me that your enemies are...
Rama, you still have a fever. Don't forget to take your medicines. I'll take care of myself.
So you are particularly anxious to get appointments in the public service?
Yes, decidedly.
Why is that so?
Our experience on the administration of the law is very bitter. In most of the cases, the law is administered to the disadvantage of the depressed class man.
I understand that you have been very active in the uplift of the depressed classes. Do the higher classes help you in this work?
The whole caste Hindu population insist upon the depressed classes doing the unclean jobs. Because giving up doing these jobs means that the depressed classes are exceeding their social status, rivaling the upper class.
What do you want to represent as the proper way in which the Constitution of India should deal with the depressed classes?
The first thing I would like to submit is that we claim that we must be treated as a distinct minority, separate from the Hindu community. Secondly, the depressed classes minority needs a far greater political protection than any other minority in British India, for the simple reason that it has been kept educationally ever backward, economically poor, socially enslaved, and suffers from grave political disabilities from which no other community suffers. So, we claim reserved seats if accompanied by adult franchise.
And if there is no adult franchise?
Then we would ask for a separate electorate, certain safeguards regarding the education of the depressed classes and their entry into public service.
Mr. Solanki, do you keep the same view?
Yes, of course.
If the details of the scheme which you've laid out were to be introduced into the constitution of this country, would it not lead to perpetual class war?
It might. But it would depend on the attitude of the majority, Sir John.
Therefore, you would not, as a sagacious statesman.
I do contemplate and I do desire the time when India shall be one. And I believe that a time will come when all these things will not be necessary. But again, it would depend upon the attitude of the majority towards the minority.
How many members of the depressed classes practice at the bar?
I am the only one.
Any more questions, gentlemen? Thank you, Dr. Ambedkar, Mr. Solanki.
Thank you, Major Atlee.
Simon! Go back! Go back! ब्रिटिशांचे हस्तक! Ambedkar! Ambedkar! ब्रिटिशांचे हस्तक! Ambedkar! Ambedkar!
Dr. Sahib, don't you think that those who are clamoring for the independence of the country have inconsistent attitude?
Yes, of course. They raised violent protest against the insulting treatment meted out to Indians in South Africa and to Indian students in Britain. And at the same time, denying human rights to their own countrymen and co-religionists in India.